Now, Jules' favorite category, the one that we've spent a lot of time talking about privately, best RPG. And the way the Game Awards defines RPG, this is their definition: for the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. I don't like that definition at all, to be honest. So the nominees are Elden Ring, Live Alive, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. You can take the floor.
I'm sitting here now, and I am going to have my rant. I primarily play role-playing games, and role-playing as a genre, in my opinion, is a certain type of game. And I believe that role-playing needs to be at the core of the gameplay experience, not just in the menus, not just in the creation. And I also think that for these categories, you should be fitting the games into which category they fit best into. So if you're only putting them into one of these genre categories, you should put them into the genre that fits the best with their gameplay. Elden Ring has RPG elements, yes. And by this definition, best game design with rich player character customization, progression, and massively multiplayer experiences, absolutely Elden Ring fits that description of what an RPG is. But let me tell you right now, that description was made so they could put Elden Ring into this category,
Exactly.
because none of these other games have massively multiplayer experiences. Not one other game has that, nor do most typical RPGs have that. And rich player character customization, yes, that comes with an RPG. That comes with a ton of other games as well, because there's a lot of action games, there's a lot of adventure games, there's a lot of strategy games that are adopting RPG elements now in terms of progression and character customization. It's everywhere. God of War has RPG elements. Horizon has RPG elements.
Sonic
Mario
had
and
it too.
Rabbids. Sonic had RPG elements. Lots of games have RPG elements now. And I just think that it's important to have a distinction over what is the core gameplay focus here. And going back to what we said about Action, Action talked about a game that's primary focus is combat.
Yeah.
Souls games' primary focus is combat. It's essentially a boss and enemy rush game. Like, that's what it is. The whole game is combat. Yes, there is a deep progression and a deep character customization that can affect how you approach that combat. But ultimately, Elden Ring is not based off of your build, whether you're going to win something. Like, yes, to a degree it is. That helps you. But ultimately, it's also based off of how you are physically playing, because it is an action game. It is a combat focused game. For the most part, the average player can't go into Xenoblade Chronicles 3, for example, and go fight a level 70. You're not supposed to fight this enemy at the beginning. You would actually lose. Like, the game is actually designed that you can't do those things, because the progression is made to fit with this idea of like linear progression, and this idea of like you have to level up and grind and build your way to that. Like, that's not what it like. Elden Ring, you can influence that. Like, Elden Ring, you can be good at the core gameplay to surpass that natural progression. That sounds more like an action game than it does an RPG. And I'm just like looking at these games, I'm like, that what they've said for the best game design with rich player character customization, including massively multiplayer experiences, that description doesn't even fit these other four games.
It doesn't.
There's not rich player character customization in Triangle Strategy or in Pokemon Legends Arceus or Live Alive. You can say that there is in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because it has a job system, but that doesn't fit the other three games here. Despite the fact that Live Alive, Triangle Strategy, and Pokemon Legends Arceus are at their core gameplay RPG. And then also including massively multiplayer experiences, that literally only applies to Elden Ring. And it doesn't apply to any of these games. So what I'm looking at here is this is not even what a typical RPG would be viewed as. This is
Yeah.
we want Elden Ring in this category. We want Elden Ring to win this category. So we've made the category fit Elden Ring, even though it shouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm really pissed off about this category because RPGs are a niche for the most part. Like, core RPGs are a niche. RPG elements are everywhere, but core RPGs are a niche. Not a lot of people play JRPGs or even Western RPGs as much as they used to. And it's usually a category where these games, despite them being incredible, despite them having a lot of cool narrative stuff, a lot of cool gameplay stuff, they almost never breach into the big categories. They almost never get nominated for Game of the Year. They almost never get nominated for Best Narrative, despite the fact that they might have that. It really, the RPG category has been reserved for the RPGs of the year to battle it out, because that's the only thing they're going to get nominated for, because they occupy a niche. And for you to take the biggest game of the year that is not at its core, an RPG first, and put it into this category so that every other game here that is going to be recognized nowhere else is going to lose to it, that pisses me the off. Like, it just pisses me off. I cannot even express how much of a slap in the face this is to hardcore RPG players.
And also, it's a disservice to the other games that are nominated.
Yeah, it is. And like, I don't know how I would even check this, but I'm curious if I went back and looked at previous years what the best role playing description was, if this would be the same description. Because I doubt it is. I would have wanted Xenoblade 3 to win in this category. It should win in this category, but it won't. Like, ultimately, Elden Ring is going to win this category, and it's unfortunate because there's been a number of good RPGs this year.